my gosh. Okay, I think I have it. I think I set it up to where my phone can stay still throughout the duration of this video. I have a tripod and it's not set up correctly, but this is at least set up. So, hi guys, I'm Tanu, aka your student supporter. I'm a recent high school graduate, just graduated in May, and I'm going to UT Austin as a business student. I have a TikTok account titled Your Student Supporter where I've been posting TikTok videos for like a year and a half now about like school tips and lifestyle tips. So this YouTube channel is very overdue. I decided, I was like, I am not going to start off the YouTube channel with some like introductory video. So that's like the quickest introduction that y'all are gonna get for right now. I actually kind of just wanted to jump into it because I know for a lot of you guys, school starts next month. My school starts next month. I just thought I'd start right off the bat with something that I think is very pertinent to all of you guys that hopefully subscribe to me now. This video is gonna be about how to kind of achieve your best balance to ultimately become your best self. Don't mean to make that sound cliche. This is just me giving my best tips and advice. I'm losing my breath. Oh, this is hot tea. I don't know what's going through my head, thinking that hot tea in 100+ degree Texas weather is gonna make me feel better, but I like tea. Anyways, so I just decided I was gonna do the video on stuff that I think you guys would all enjoy because I asked you guys directly through Instagram, my Instagram story actually. I was like, what questions do you guys have that you want me to answer? And then therefore, that'll help you become successful this school year. So without further ado, oh my god, I used to watch YouTubers doing this all the time. The fact that I'm saying this now, without further ado, let's get into it. Wow, it's crazy. I will tell you guys all of my secrets in this little video. So let's get right into it. Ow, I just like smacked my face. Okay, first question is asked by Lid K Man. The question is, how did you balance school and social? Simple question. Maybe not so simple answer. Really, like if I were to condense it into like one or two things, really say prioritization, especially on the weekends. Like you cannot use your weekends wastefully. You have to use those weekends to the best of your ability. All 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you count Friday as a weekend. I kind of do, but just balancing those 3 days in a way that kind of works for you is really how you can get the most out of that following week as well. For example, what I personally did that worked for me, I would use Fridays and Saturdays as like fun days. I would have all my fun on Fridays and Saturdays, but then Sundays, I would leave strictly for my job and for homework. Like I didn't do anything on Sundays, very rarely, unless I was like sleeping over at someone's house on Saturday or something. But other than that, like I very much use Sundays as like the grind days from morning to night. Okay, like I'm not messing around when I say Sundays are for the grind. Now, I say that Sunday worked for me because it did, because I didn't really have any obligations on Sundays, but I know that a lot of people do have obligations on Sundays. You might have church, you might have like a family event, whatever it is, you might be busy on Sundays or at least part of that Sunday, and that's fine. The key is just to use the rest of that Sunday purely to your academic advantage. Like just do whatever you have to do, and the most key thing to get through any work that you might have is to kind of feel no emotion. Just get through it. Just tell yourself before you start this big task or whatever, just tell yourself it'll be over, and then after it's over, you can feel everything that you want to feel. But when you're grinding, you have to focus purely on that grind. That includes when you balance school and social. You are purely focusing on one or the other. Make sure you are living in the moment no matter which one you're doing. If you're doing homework, then you're living in the moment by doing homework. You're purely focused on that homework. But if you're going out, if you're having fun, then purely focus on that fun. Don't try to worry too much about the other thing while you do the other thing. I'm out of breath again. Woo. This is gonna take some practice. Yeah. So you've definitely heard the saying, live in the moment. And I think that when it comes to balancing school and social life, that's very applicable. So that's my answer. Okay, next question. This question was asked by Manasi Desai. What do I do if I don't have leadership roles and I'm already a senior applying for colleges. Great question. Here's my answer. Biggest thing to know, like a prerequisite almost to this question, is just that leadership roles are like not mandatory for any college, I don't think, as to my knowledge, but they add to your extracurriculars and then in turn make yourself seem more impressive in those extracurriculars when you apply to college, but they're not mandatory. If you don't have leadership roles in your extracurriculars and you think that your extracurriculars are lacking as a result of that lack of leadership roles, then there are so many different avenues that you can take aside from your extracurriculars that are still going to be applicable to colleges and college apps, because college apps are holistic. They don't just look at your extracurriculars, they don't just look at your grades. But if you're lacking in one department, my best advice is to just do your best in the other departments. So you're going into senior year, you might just have one semester left before you finalize applying to college. I would say like just make sure that you're getting the best grades you can this semester. Maybe if you like are particularly passionate about something, then you can start a passion project about that something, you know, and that'll be a leadership role in itself. You are taking charge of that passion project. So that's a leadership role. That could be something that you do. You could volunteer, you could just apply to a lot of scholarships, apply to a lot of contests. You could do so many other things that don't necessarily pertain to your typical extracurriculars and school clubs that'll make you succeed in the other departments. Next question. That was a good question. Oh, okay. This one was asked by Susanna Palacio 5S. And there's an underscore in the username. The question is, what's the best advice you've received throughout high school? Excellent question, Susanna. I'm very thankful you asked that. Best advice I've received is honestly probably applicable to anyone. And again, I don't mean to sound cliche when I say it, but really, it's to balance yourself. I don't recommend prioritizing so much of one thing that you neglect other things unless it's like really important. Like say for example, there's a football game the night before you have to take the SAT, but you didn't really study for the SAT, like you don't feel prepared, you think that you need that night to kind of like self-reflect and like just wish yourself good luck, like don't go to that football game, you know? But if it's kind of just like regular things, if you're just trying to figure out how you should split things up during the week, just make sure that you are listening to yourself and you are listening to what you think is needed best and what you think that you need most for your own sanity. Like, not just like, that may sound broad, like if doing little things like reading or like running or watching this YouTube video, watching my videos, if that gives you joy, make time in the week to do those things along with the other things that you have to do that are more academic oriented. Make time for the things that you love and make time for balance, and you will shine like a star, believe me. Okay, next question. Some healthy habits for a better senior year. That's a great question asked by Vidarth Jain, who actually goes to my school. Hi Vidarth, if you're watching this. Okay, I'm not only gonna give healthy habits for senior year, but honestly these habits apply to all years of high school, okay? I think that the healthiest habits you can get are A, sleeping at least 6 hours, if I'm being realistic. Like, I think the lowest I got down to, I don't think I ever pulled an all-nighter. I got close to it a couple of times, but I think like the lowest I've slept in high school was like 2 hours. Never do that to yourself, okay? I'm gonna repeat that. Never do that to yourself. Do not get below 6 hours of sleep. Let me tell you what, your sleep is so important, because as much as you think that you have to stay up late to study for this assignment or do this thing, you're not gonna be able to do it well without sleep. Like as you would without studying and sleeping. You know why? Because your brain is not gonna function properly since it did not get that sleep. Get the sleep. I am talking from personal experience. Sophomore year, I took pre-AP chemistry. I would always prioritize sleep. Like I would pay attention in class, okay? And that's the key. That's a healthy habit too. I'll talk about that. But sleeping, like I would always sleep sophomore year, at least probably 7-8 hours a night, even every night on school nights. And I remember pre-AP chemistry was like one of the hardest classes for everyone in my grade. Like it was like super hard. But instead of studying for tests sometimes, I would like revisit hard problems from my homework maybe just like a couple of them. I would like kind of soak them in to the best of my ability. But if it hit 10:30 or 11 on the clock and I was still looking at those problems, I said goodbye. I just said goodbye and I went to sleep, and it worked out very well for me. That's not the only class that's worked in. It's worked in a lot of classes for me, but just because it worked for me doesn't mean that it won't work for you. I think if anything, for me, like someone who's already super distracted and someone who needs a lot of time to learn and absorb, if that worked for me, it'll 101% work for you. I think that you guys should learn to sleep, especially senior year. Senior year, there are so many things going on. So important for you to sleep at least 6 hours a night. I'm just telling you 6 hours, okay? I'm not even giving you the full 8, but sleep 6 hours a night. And then the next one that I talked about previously already was paying attention in class. Because let me let you in on a little bit of a secret, okay? If you pay attention in class and you pay attention well, then that's gonna save you time later on when you have to study the same material. That's going to save you time because you're already gonna kind of remember, especially if you're studying that same night. If you do the homework that you're given in a certain class, if it's the same night that you were given the assignment, it'll help you review better. It'll help you learn better. That's also a very healthy habit, is just paying attention in class, doing what you're supposed to do in class, and then maybe just talking sometimes. Study groups are also a very good habit, but that's not really a habit. That's just something I should mention. You want to become your best self? Study with other people. It's a very good habit. Okay, next question. This is gonna be my last one. Last but not least is advice for studying. Such a good broad topic. I could talk about this for hours, and I will in this YouTube channel. You guys just watch. One of the best things I could tell you for your own sake, if you want to preserve your sanity when you study while also retaining the material that you study, you need to make sure that you are writing stuff down manually. Like, I know we all love Quizlet. I know we all love our digital materials, but if you're not learning the stuff with handwritten material, then chances are it's not gonna work out for you very well. And that goes with a lot of classes. Like, I know for my history classes, I've said this in my TikToks, but what I used to do was I would write handwritten timelines. Like, I would look at my notes for 5 minutes, I would kind of memorize as many events as I could, and then like the next 15-20 minutes I would brain dump them all as much as I remembered onto a timeline. And then after whatever gaps I was missing on the timeline, I would go back, revisit my notes, and then do the same thing until I got like every single event in from my memory, if that makes sense. The key there was like writing it all out. Also though, this applies so much to STEM classes. I remember for physics and calculus, I would always work problems out on paper. I would write every single step of the problem out. Most of the time, when I studied for tests in STEM classes, like I would be on FaceTime with my friends who were like really good at those classes. If we were working on the same homework in the FaceTime, for example, okay, I would like write every step out so that if they got the answer wrong, I would show them every step, and I think that helped. And it was like the same thing. Like, it was like reciprocated. Even though they were better at mental math, they still did write steps out. Point is, write stuff out. That's what I'm gonna say for now, but I'm gonna do whole other videos on studying. Don't you worry, I got you. But for now, just remember, write stuff out manually. Pro tip, using a black or blue pen will do you much good. Smart tip. But I'm still out of breath. Like, that was just 22 minutes of talking. Don't worry, the video will not be 22 minutes when I cut it down, because I'm gonna cut it down. Watch my editing skills. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful. Make sure that you subscribe. It's so fun now that I can say that. And then follow my TikTok and Instagram for so much more. And there is so much more to come on this YouTube channel. Like, I promise you, I have so much that I want to say. I will keep doing Q&As. I will keep focusing on advice and tips for you guys so that you guys can become your best selves. Stay tuned and subscribe for more. Yay!